But he got a flag down.
Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
You're listening to Oofsides on Track and Turf Media.
Talk about playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were.
Who's gonna win it all?
Football.
And who is Dunyan Rings?
You play to win the game.
Live from the Dieter Brock studio.
Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug.
Here's the crew that's bringing it all to you.
Oh, baby, what an intro. Welcome to Oofsides. We're back again by unpopular demand. How you guys doing this week?
Football.
Football. Yeah.
I'm feeling great. I didn't have to watch my team suffer this time.
What's that like?
Pretty good. This is a good off week for me, you know? I can just sit back and enjoy everything else.
Yeah. Can't wait to read off a text from my dad when we get to Monday night. That'll be fun.
Hopefully my power stays on for that.
Yeah. We're on borrowed time this week. Apparently. Yeah. God doesn't want the podcast to happen, but we're here.
Yeah, he didn't want me to use the bathroom either with what happened earlier.
Wait, hang on.
My power went out while I was taking a shit earlier. And then it came back on. It's been a day.
My God. Well,
we're vibing.
Yeah. I think that means we should probably get this show on the road then. And we'll start it with Thursday night's matchup in Detroit. Ford Field was the site of a potentially NFC North deciding contest as the Lions, in search of their first consecutive division title since 1954, welcomed their longtime rivals from Green Bay into town. The league-leading Lions offense jumped out to a 10-point lead at halftime, but the Packers capitalized on a Jared Goff interception and a Dan Campbell gamble on fourth down deep in their own territory to even the score late. With just 43 seconds left in a tie game, the Lions weren't scared by their early fourth down failure, and David Montgomery picked up the game-sealing first down conversion. 2 plays later, Jake Bates kicked the Lions to 12-1 and one step closer to glory. Lions 34, Packers 31.
What
a game. Really feels
rolling.
Oh yeah, it really feels like the NFL kind of course corrected on the Thursday night lineup this year to keep Al Michaels from killing somebody, because what a game. Oh my God. Yeah, I love Dan Campbell. I just got to put that out there. But when we get into this, because I want to skip right to the end of this game, because you have they'd already gone for it on fourth down, I think twice already. I'll find the stat in a second. And they went for it on their own 31 on a 4th and 1, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And they didn't get it, which directly led to a Packers touchdown, which I believe drew them within 3 at that point. Or no, it put them up 3, I think. I can't remember exactly. I'll pull up the box score. But when it came back down to it, and they faced a 4th and 1 on the Green Bay 21, in a situation where they could kick the field goal and take the lead with 43 seconds left up. And they line up like they're going for it after they took a timeout. And there was a funny moment in this where Kirk Herbstreit was like, I think they're going to try to draw them off sides, and they're going to take a timeout here. And I was thinking to myself, like, they can't. They just took a timeout. Like, they're going for it on 4th and 1. Like, fuck it, chuck it. And sure enough, it worked. And it just reminds me of, like, how upset it made me that people were pissed off at Dan Campbell for all the fourth down gambles at the end of last year in the NFC title game. And I was like, that's their brand of football. That's what they do. Fucking go for it.
They were very fortunate that they got that playoff, and Goff didn't follow lose to football.
Oh my God, yeah.
If that happened, I think that would have ended their season there. I think that would have happened to the Lions of old. But it's not surprising that they fixed it, or the new regime has prevented something like that from happening.
Can we start calling him Dan Gamble?
Honestly, yeah.
I saw him start to go down, and my heart started dropping out of my stomach. That was
That was so close to being one of the funniest plays of the entire season.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it just
In
reminded
college,
me.
it would have been down though. Is the crazy thing.
Yeah. That was one of the things Kirk Herbstreit pointed out. He was like, "It's a good thing that's not how the NFL rules are." I totally forgot about that detail of it. Yeah, I mean, if that play goes poorly and the Lions give up the ball there, the Packers all of a sudden are 10-3, they're 11-2, tied with the Vikings. All of a sudden, it's a 3-horse race at the top of the division, and it still is. But like, this is the win that puts the Lions firmly in the driver's seat, not only for the NFC North, but the #1 seed, which it's just crazy to think about. Go back 3 years and be like, yeah, the Lions are going to be 12-1 and controlling the league at this point. It's kind of insane still to think about.
I think this is going to take the Packers out of contention for the division and leave it just between the Lions and Vikings. Because now that the Lions have swept the 2 games, the Packers are 3 games back with 4 games left. So they're going to need the Lions to lose out and for them to win out to win it. But they're still obviously very much in contention for a wild card. And honestly, I wouldn't think there's anything for them to hang their heads on in this game because they went into a hostile environment and played as good of a game as you could have despite not winning it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I came out of this game thinking that the Packers are in their own process of ascension after like a rough start to the year. Obviously, there was the Jordan Love injury, but like, Love comes back from that kind of iffy performance, and this game was just awesome. So I feel very strongly about both of these teams, but yeah, it really feels like it's going to be tough to stop the Lions at this point because they can beat you in just about any way. And they have they clinched a playoff spot yet? I feel like they have.
They have.
They?
Them
Okay.
and the Eagles both did, I think, this week.
Okay, cool. So that is the first time the Lions have made the playoffs in consecutive seasons since 1995, the year of my birth. So.
Jesus fuck. Shout out to Josh Jacobs too for putting the Packers on his back and scoring 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah,
Playing the role of both David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs this week.
Yeah, that's been such a good pickup for them too. Like I genuinely was wondering, or not wondering, was unsure about the move they made to move on from. Oh God, not Dalvin Cook. God, what was their?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, thank you. When they moved on from Aaron Jones, because I thought he still had some gas in the tank, and he clearly still does with the Vikings. But like Josh Jacobs was such a good pickup for them.
On the flip side too, like the Lions have had some injuries on the offensive side and the off the field stuff with Jameson Williams that happened earlier in the year. Shout out Tim Patrick for having like a career resurgence in this game and scoring 2 touchdowns and being the unsung hero of the entire game.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hadn't played in like a year and a half, right?
Yeah, he had season-ending injuries in 2 straight seasons, and so the Broncos let him go.
He tore his ACL in 2022, and then he tore his Achilles in 2023.
Oh, that's right.
And he had like signed an extension, I think, that offseason when the ACL one happened. But it's good to see him back in a good spot and actually getting productive or meaningful snaps and targets and everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So this offense just keeps rolling.
And they can do it with about anybody.
Yeah, little concerned about the defense, but at the same time, like the Packers are not or they are a force to be reckoned with. So we'll see in the coming weeks. On to Sunday afternoon. I was asking for some confirmation. Oh, whatever. Fuck it. Go to Miami.
The Miami Dolphins, absolutely elated. The New York Jets, absolutely eliminated. Miami took care of New York in overtime with a loss that is surely as sour as a lime. The Jets' suffering this year will be over soon, but for now, Gangrene is packing for Cancun as the Dolphins defeat the New York Jets 32-26, which is scoregami, and officially knocked the Jets out of playoff contention. which means that the prediction I made back before week 1 that this team would not make the playoffs has come true, and I could not be happier.
Fucking the goddamn Jets just keep finding ways to lose. And the end of this game is a perfect example of this because they drove down into Dolphins territory and were well within field goal range, or not even within field goal range, like in range to score a game-winning touchdown and just like end all of these late game collapses. And you have Aaron Rodgers, who is as experienced as anybody, takes a dumbass sack that basically almost drives them out of field goal range, and then has to, like, completes a pass to Devontae Adams, who the only thing he shouldn't be doing is going out of bounds, and then he goes out of bounds and gives the Dolphins plenty of time to go down and kick their own field goal, and game goes to overtime. They lose in overtime. Like, that is your two most experienced players, like the two key pickups of this year, and they're both just forgetting like football game management fundamentals. Like, what on earth is this?
I would also like to point out, this was Aaron Rodgers' 300-yard game since week 14 of 2021.
That is
Oh,
an
God.
insane statistic.
That was December 12th, so he went almost 3 calendar years between 300-yard games, and they still found a way to lose this game.
Good God. Yeah, we'll get to the Dolphins eventually, but should also point out that like there's rumors that Garrett Wilson is looking for a way out in the offseason. So
Oh,
just
boy.
great,
I would.
great vibes.
I don't blame him. I really don't. And I think Devontae Adams is only signed through the end of the year, right?
Yeah, he's literally like
He's
on a
on a
1-year
1 year.
rental. Yeah.
So they could lose potentially their 2 top receivers in the offseason, whether Rodgers comes back or not. And if there's anybody on the offense that, as a front office member of the Jets, that I would want to keep, it's those two, regardless of quarterback. And the fact they might lose them both is not a good sign for the future at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you even raised the question of like, does management want to bring Rodgers back?
I could see a situation genuinely where the Jets trade up and try to take a quarterback in the draft this upcoming year.
Yeah, same.
I don't think it's ridiculous for them to take a swing at Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or any of the other top prospects that are going to be available.
I don't see anything else they can do.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you're not going to get anybody to sign here, so you might as well draft somebody.
well, unless you want to pay out big in free agency for someone like, I don't know, Sam Darnold.
No.
No.
Sam
The Jets
Darnold
could raise a quarterback like Sam Darnold, right?
No.
That would be so funny.
I would actually cry.
Yeah. Sam, it's an abusive relationship, man. You got to get out.
I just
like
can't
AJ
believe
Allmendinger at Colleague.
I can't believe how bad the Aaron Rodgers experience has been in New York. I would feel bad if it wasn't so funny.
Yeah,
It gets
just
funnier
abject
by the week.
failure.
Yeah.
Because like Aaron Rodgers hasn't been terrible, right? He's just been like league average, sometimes above average. But there's just so much swirling chaos and mismanagement around this team. They're so poorly coached. The defense stinks. Everybody seems unhappy. They're in fire everybody mode, which is something the Jets never do. Like, I genuinely, I just still can't believe that it played out exactly how everybody joked it was going to play out.
Y'all just didn't see the vision.
No,
Like,
I always had a feeling, because it was the Jets.
Like
They
I
never
said,
get things like this right.
I said at the beginning of the year that whether Aaron Rodgers completed the season or not, they were still going to finish third and miss the playoffs. And again, I just could not be happier that it's week 14 and they've been eliminated with 4 games left to go. But back to on the field, I also want to bring up at the very end of the regulation, like, even though he took that sack at the very end, Aaron Rodgers still led a really good drive down the field to give the Jets the lead with not a lot of time left. And then just the failure on special teams to allow the Dolphins to return the kickoff to midfield,
Yeah, that too.
and then immediately giving Tua ample time to gain like 30 more yards to get them in field goal range to tie it at the end of regulation. Like, you had one job, and you completely fucked it, and you cost themselves the game.
It's just everything is a failure about this team. Like, this has got to go down in history alongside like 2012 or 2011 Eagles and like 2019 Browns in terms of like preseason hype, and then just absolutely nothing. Except this is probably worse than both of those, because at least the 2011 Eagles were 8-8, you know. On the Dolphins side, like, I don't know, man, not doing anything to convince anybody of like the warm weather narrative. So, because it was a nice day in Miami and Tua looked great. So,
Yeah.
Par for the course for a home game for them, really.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's a good team. It's just they missed the middle portion of the season. They're out of it now.
yeah.
Well, I don't know if they're out of it. I mean, they're 6-7, which is not great by any means, but they still have a chance if enough things go their way.
Yeah, they need the Broncos or Chargers to collapse, or actually the Ravens are at the same record as the other two, but yeah, they need some help too. It's probably going to be too little, too late, but there's still something to play for.
Yeah, they could just at the very least be a spoiler for somebody else.
Yeah,
I have the same vibe from them right now as I did in 2021 when they started off so bad with Brian Flores and they recovered to finish so well at the end of the year. And even though they fired Brian Flores, I don't think they're going to fire Mike McDaniel for how this year has gone.
no.
But at the end of the day, obviously still a disappointment with how they did last year and where the expectations were set prior to the season.
Yeah, so, but hey, at least they can look across the division and say, hey, we're not the most disappointing team from the AFC East. However, up north, the
most disappointing team in the North is the Cleveland Browns.
Well, the Bengals exist, but yeah.
Yeah, well, orange.
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 Like my cat.
2 weeks removed from a stunning upset on Thursday night, the Browns once again face the Steelers, taking the 2-hour trek to Pittsburgh. This time the Steelers weren't fucking around. 3 sacks, 2 picks, and a whole lot of rock pounding put the Steelers up 27-7 entering the fourth quarter. From there, the Browns start to mount a comeback with David Njoku hauling a touchdown and Myles Garrett stripping the ball from Cordarrelle Patterson. Immediately afterwards, the Browns remembered they're the Browns, with Jameis gift wrapping the ball for a James Pierre pick, followed by Kadarius Toney completely whiffing on a punt with 3 minutes left to ice the game. The Steelers leave Acrisure Stadium, I'm sorry I had to say that, with yet another dub, 27-14.
I could hear you, like, in pain.
It felt I misgendered my own stadium.
You dead named it.
I dead named my well, no, then it would have been Heinz Field as a dead. But its chosen name.
You're right.
Its chosen name should be Three River Stadium. But
yeah, you know that's true.
Yeah, back on top, the Browns suck.
Yeah. I think the Jameis Winston experience made everybody forget that it was like, wait, this team's really bad.
Kadarius Toney might have any player this year.
Can you say that again? You cut out.
I said Kadarius Toney might have had the worst quarter of football by any player this season.
How do you get rattled by Ben Skowronek? Draw a taunting penalty on yourself.
My favorite part about that whole thing, though, is that the punt that he muffed was then recorded by Ben Skowronek.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so fitting, and like, but I don't feel bad. It's really funny.
I have a feeling that's going to be his last play in the NFL.
Dude, it's
Which
still
is a shame, because of the talent that he had coming out of college.
Yeah, he's good. Then it's just the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
It still cracks me up that like his first season with the Giants, midway through his first season, there was like a little rumor mill that came out, like, is he gonna be on the trade block? And everybody's like, what the fuck? And then sure enough, the next year he was in Kansas City. And then a year later he was out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, even if this is the end of his NFL career, he still got 2 rings out of it.
You know what? That is true. Can't take that away from him.
Nope.
Yeah, this was it was not good, and you can kind of tell that the Browns were a little checked out. They did kind of flirt with making a comeback in this game, but you had Myles Garrett getting a sack, and then like with the big celebration, and it was like, Miles, you're down 13. Like,
Come on, man.
come on, bro. Yeah, and just like the aspect too of like Nick Chubb doesn't look like he did pre-injury. It's just depressing.
Yeah. I will say Jerry Jeudy has been killing it for him this season.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's such a good pickup for them. Just unfortunately, just the rest of the team kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Also, weird thing I just noticed because I'm looking at like the Browns box score. Like half of their receivers' names start with J for some reason.
What the fuck?
Jerome Ford,
just-
Jerry Jeudy, James Proche, Jordan Atkins.
Was
James.
James.
This was also, by the way, the 21st straight home win against the Browns in the regular season by the Steelers.
Good.
And the Steelers, Pittsburgh in the regular season since 2003.
God.
Yeah, the Browns haven't swept the Steelers, I believe, since 1988.
Yeah, that checks out. That was the year they went 6-11. I want to give a shout out to Mike Williams for having two of the most absurd catches I've ever seen during this game, and the fact that only one of them counted.
Oh yeah. I'm still kind of like Steelers are the juggernaut that I kind of keep forgetting about, because like the narrative is the Ravens because they're such a fun, exciting team, defending MVP and everything, and then it's like, oh yeah, they're not even leading their division, by the way, because the Steelers are 10-3, and it's like, the whole narrative is like, oh, can the Bills catch the Chiefs for the number 1 seed, and it's like, well, there's another team that's kind of in contention as well.
They play each other later in the year.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't believe they haven't clinched a spot yet. Also, but yeah, the Steelers, like you said, are gone to the Super Bowl.
Yep, it's a
at this
foregone
point-
conclusion. So everything
point,
else has been
unbelievable.
gravy.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I love Pat Fryermuth.
Shout out Cordell Patterson for having 4 carries for 3 yards, channeling his inner Jerome Bettis in this game.
Hell yeah.
Tag a bro who does fuck all.
And he also had 1 reception for -2 yards, so he had a total of 5 carries / receptions for 1 yard.
Yeah, and I think that reception was the one he fumbled.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Dudes rock.
No, not really.
Yet, and Michael Pruitt also had a single catch for negative yards. So Darnell Washington had a single target in this game that he didn't catch, but finished with more receiving yards than 2 players that did have receptions.
Football never changed.
I love this game.
It's a beautiful game.
Anyway, on to Tampa Bay. It was a battle of the pirate teams as the lowly Las Vegas Raiders had sailed to the Gulf Coast to play their fellow swashbucklers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield commanded his man-o'-war offense to 2 early scores, but Captain Aiden O'Connell rushed for a score, and the Raiders' defense mutinied 2 of Mayfield's passes. Looking like they might be ripe for the plundering by Vegas, the Buccaneers' defense sent AOC overboard and pillaged the Raiders in the 4th quarter with 2 decisive scores. Tampa now moves closer to the paradise of the postseason, while the Raiders have firmly sunk into Davy Jones' locker. Buccaneers 28, Raiders 13. I actually didn't find out until like a year ago that the Raiders logo is supposed to be a pirate.
Is it?
Yeah, I always thought it was just like a dude.
Looks like Tourette's guy.
Well, I think if you clone the Tourette's guy 10 times and put them all out on the field, they play better than the Raiders are right now.
Man.
This team reeks.
Yeah, you ever just like watch a football team die like in real time? So that's kind of what happened here.
I also can't believe that Aiden O'Connell was put in a fucking air cast and carted off the field, and somehow all of that was only for a bone bruise, as it turns out.
I think he just didn't want to play for the Raiders.
That looked awful.
he's like, he got hit and he was like called for the medical staff. And he's like, look, man, I just want to clock out. Like,
Yeah, so if he can't go, it's going to be Desmond Ridder starting against his old team this week.
Oh God.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
believe
yeah.
Can't
Desmond
wait for
Ridder
that
still has a
revenge
job.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yep. So somebody has to play quarterback for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Do they need a quarterback? I mean, you could just continue to pound the rock. You got Sincere McCormick, who's actually doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, he's been sincerely good.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Wait a second. Aiden O'Connell had 6 carries for 6 years. Did he scramble finally?
He must have.
Oh my god. Oh no, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he got a touchdown.
I just realized.
He averaged a yard a carry. Look at him go. He's got wheels.
Mobile threat.
White lightning.
I was gonna say, I'm just picturing the goddamn picture that Kofi tweets all the time of just white Michael Vick. Yeah, so this is not the first time, and like the Raiders have a pretty good defense, so it wasn't totally unheard of, but not the first time that a bad defense has kind of scared the Bucks, and then during the fourth quarter they're like, wait a second, what are we doing here? And then you have Mike Evans hurdles a guy, and then Bucky Irving just takes off for, or not Bucky Irving, Rashad White takes off for like 30 friggin' yards after that. You have Sean Tucker for running for 47 yards. Who the hell is Sean Tucker?
It kind of felt a little bit like the Saints game they had early in the season, where it was close for a bit, where they had the lead, then blew the lead, and then got it back, and then finally said, oh yeah, we're supposed to be way better than these guys, and then pulled away at the end.
Yeah, there's been quite a few games like that. The Panthers game is like that too, where Baker will throw a couple of interceptions, and then they'll be like, the fuck are we doing? And then they just turn it around.
It almost feels like they're trying to humble themselves mid-game and reminding themselves that it could be way worse than this, and then just remembering how they play.
They're just getting bored during the game, and they're fucking around until it's time to get serious again.
Yeah, it's like the Chiefs playing jazz football.
Exactly.
No, the Bucks are just made up of a roster full of guys that think if a day is going too well, it gets oddly suspicious, and they got to keep themselves in check and bring themselves back down to earth for a while.
Well, there's always been the thing with Baker that everybody talks about is like, oh yeah, he plays best when people like count him out, and he's like, hey, I gotta fuck up real quick, guys, to power up. He's got to charge up.
Self-loathing quarterback.
Yeah.
Whatever floats his pirate ship, I guess.
Ew.
Whatever kind of
Yo-ho,
poutine.
yo-ho, the number one picks for me.
The ship version of a tank.
A barge, I guess.
Barge commander Baker Mayfield.
I'm pretty sure this was the game also that officially eliminated the Raiders from playoff contention. So
Oh, so close.
Yeah, they had to walk the plank after this one.
next, there's always next time.
This team started out 2-2,
Yeah,
and they've lost out.
This is their 9th loss in a row.
Literally reverse Eagles. Like they were both 2-2, and they've lost 9 in a row, and the Eagles have won 9 in a row.
I think
and
if
also,
the Eagles had lost 9 in a row, they would have fired Sirianni by now.
Oh yeah. More on that later. Yeah, it's and because of what happened later, we'll talk about the Bucks now lead the division despite getting swept by the fucking Falcons. So that once again,
Falcons are bag fumbling in real time.
Yeah, more on that later.
nobody wants to play or nobody wants to win the NFC South.
Nobody
what,
wants to
though?
win anymore.
No.
Speaking of that, the Saints are still not out of this.
There's still time.
The Saints are
get
only
the
2
Rizzler in the
games behind
playoffs.
the Bucks with 4 games left, and I think the Saints play the Bucks in Week 18. That could get interesting.
God.
Oh god, no.
Hey, if they win this week, they have a 2%, or their probability goes up from less than 1% to 2% of making the
Wow.
playoffs.
Look at that.
Yeah. Another team that's somehow still alive in the playoff race is the Chicago Bears, as they headed to the Bay Area.
The 49ers beat the shit out of the Bears. But if we're being totally honest, who cares? This game was out of reach very quickly, and we need a welfare check on Bears fans to see if they're sickly. Whether this win propels the Niners remains to be seen, and for the team from Chicago, they need a deep clean, as the Niners shit-whipped the Chicago Bears 38-13. And before we go into the specifics of this game, at halftime of this game, the 49ers had 319 total yards. The Bears had 4.
They also had a first down. 1. I'm also pretty sure the 319 yards at half is like the most in Kyle Shanahan's career.
I'd hope so. It was 24-0 at the half.
Dude,
it was bad.
I swear the Bears do this every fucking year where they have a half of football where they do nothing. Like there was that game against the Browns in 2021 where they had like 8 yards of scrimmage total.
Yeah, all 5 drives in the first half ended in punts.
George Kittle had 138 yards in the first half. Jawan Jennings had 2 touchdowns in the first half. It was just awful.
Well, so much for the fired head coach game.
Yeah, this was the exception to the rule.
Yeah,
This was bad.
Everybody but the Jets and the Bears, apparently. Yeah, this was it's like watching an entire fan base's hopes and dreams die in real time. Like, good God.
There's even a Tyson Bagent appearance in this game.
And a Brandon Allen appearance too, because Brock Purdy got murdered in the middle of this game.
Oh yeah, that's great.
He got fucking clocked, and I think he came back in though after, but
yeah,
that did not look good.
Yeah, I just like what else is there to say about the Bears right now? Like, it is insane how quickly this team fell apart. I mean, much like what we were talking about with the Raiders, this team was 4-2. Now they've lost 7 in a row. Like
there are so many dog shit teams this year, man.
The Hail Mary genuinely broke this team. If
they won that game, I really wonder where they'd be.
5-8, probably.
Well, I mean, think about it though. Like, that was a 3-point loss. The Packers was by 1. The Vikings was by 3. The Lions was by 3. Like, they played 4 playoff teams really, really close, and could have won if any of them if a single play went differently. But it just feels like once the Hail Mary happened, all of these games were destined to go the way that they did. Like, their bet had been made and they were being forced to lay in it.
It's like that. I think it was like the 2019 Chargers or something like that. That if all of their one-score game results flipped, they would have been like 14-2.
That sounds about Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I feel like we've just beaten this dead horse with the Bears so many times. Like, yeah, of course they were going to stay. I mean, and their head coach was a guy who was like not even offensive coordinator when the season started. He was like running back coach.
He was the pass game coordinator.
That's what it was. And then got promoted to interim offensive coordinator, and now is the interim head coach. And he's just like, oh God, please don't make me coach.
I think if you flipped all the Bears one-score games, I think they'd be 8-5 right now.
That is nuts.
I believe. So it's and of course on the other side, the 49ers found yet another running back that nobody had heard of to give them almost 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. As Isaac Garendo showed up because of the McCaffrey and Jordan injuries. All right, guess it's my turn. And he hurt in the middle of this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
In comes Patrick Taylor Jr. in his 4th season from Memphis, because everyone is just going to know that. And he's touchdown.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, this is.
You got-
I mean, it was a much needed win because 3 straight losses, including 2 ass whoopings by the Packers and Bills, and it's like, oh, don't worry, you got the Bears coming up. And that's your good. You
That's your
tune-up
get right game.
Yeah.
And,
So.
and they got a tough couple ones coming up too. They're still best in the division on tiebreakers. But their last 4 games are with the Lions and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out real quick if this team can survive without their injuries, or if we can finally spork them on Dunnings next week.
Yeah, and I think this week might be a good do or die situation. So, speaking of doing and or dying, one team's playoff hopes did that this week. So let's head up to East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Do we have to?
I watched this game so you didn't have to. An exercise in futility on both sides of the ball occurred at MetLife on Sunday, with the Saints losing less than the Giants 14-11. After going down 14-3 entering the fourth quarter, the Giants attempted a valiant comeback, including a rushing touchdown by Tyrone Tracy Jr. and a ridiculous 25-yard scramble by Drew Lock with less than a minute left. But a back-breaking blocked field goal by Brian Breesy shuts the door on the Giants' season and perhaps Brian Daboll's career. The Rizzler might have been the spark this Saints team needed. Is it ridiculous to say that they might keep him next year?
Your church is. Hello, I'm the football critic. I watch it so you don't have to. God, fucking.
What a wet fart of a football game.
God,
The even
damn
crazier
Giants,
thing
just
is this
find
might
a
not even
way.
have been the worst game of the week. I think there was
Yeah.
one that was worse, as bad as this
Yeah.
one was.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I want to jump forward to something I was talking about earlier, which is the Rizzler's post-game press conference. So he's an odd dude, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the energy out of the Saints locker room is not very high right now, even though they won. And there's a really funny part where Darren Rizzi is from New Jersey, and he's like trying to emphasize that they won in his home state, and he's like, we went up there and we got to win in New Jersey, and everybody in the locker room is there like, yeah, like it's like bare minimum energy. There's a couple clips of him like trying to get the team into it, and they're just like, woo.
I mean, if your selling point for an inspirational speech is New Jersey, I get it.
You're fighting an uphill battle, yeah.
Like if it's not The Sopranos, does anybody really care?
If pepperoni rolls, Sarah.
Oh, true. God, this is making me want pizza.
There's a football game going on, by the way.
Oh God, there is.
I don't. Did this game really have to happen? Like,
yeah. Like, do we need to like?
This is optional football, I think.
Do we need the Giants?
No.
Just replace them with like, I don't know, Alabama or something.
I do want to point out actually, the Giants defense in this game recorded their first interception since week 1.
Excuse me?
Yes. Since week 1, the Giants went 11 straight games without recording an interception on defense.
Oh God.
That
and
is
between
putrid.
them and the Jets, they are a combined 5-21 this year.
Should also mention the Giants have lost 8 in a row as well.
And they're also winless at home this year. So, and the Jets are 2-4, so they are a combined 2-11 at MetLife Stadium this year.
New York football, baby.
This
Never change.
team reeks so bad. How did they beat the Seahawks?
What was their other win?
Cleveland.
I'm drawing a blank.
The Browns.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those years like I think it was 2019 where you had like the Redskins, the Dolphins, and somebody else. Oh, and the Giants, who were all just atrociously bad, and they also all played each other that year.
Oh, that Dolphins team was horrendous.
Yeah, I don't think we should spend much time on this game because it's a 5-8 team and a 2-11 team.
Yeah,
and truly, who gives a shit?
Yeah, Derek, which is about the only other notable, and it was on one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen by a tech. What was he trying to do?
Oh my god.
We got a Jake Hayner appearance at the end of this game, and he may end up starting this week. So
Yeah, Derek Carr also might be in a situation where it's just like, hey man, can I just like not play for the next 2 weeks? I don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, and for some reason, apparently the recorded attendance for this game was 76,000 people. Why?
Bullshit.
Who?
Bullshit.
Well, I mean, I call bullshit too, but even no matter what the number actually is, why?
Who's paying money to go see these teams?
And sitting in all that traffic to get there, why?
Yeah.
For like $5 maybe.
Ah, that is true, yeah.
You're going to spend more in gas to get to the game than you are to go to the game.
Yeah, but then you get to say that you got to watch the Saints-Giants game in person.
Yeah,
That really
heavy there.
Ugh. I think we've talked more about this than we needed to.
Yeah, we're
Gives us a
waffling at this point. Let's talk about some teams that do matter. On to Glendale, Arizona. A bird battle to decide supremacy in the NFC West was fittingly settled in the skies, with Geno Smith and Kyler Murray taking to the air with their offensive attacks. However, the Cardinals were plucked out of the sky by the carnivorous Ospreys from the Pacific Northwest as Seattle's defense picked off 2 early Kyler Murray throws to build an early lead that they'd never relinquish. With 0 turnovers of their own, Seattle has now put their midseason slump behind them as they now reach 8-5 in the driver's seat for the division. Arizona continues to fall behind with their 3rd straight loss. It seems like it's the end of the road for these Scarlet Avians.
Shout out Zach Charbonnet too in this game.
Remember when the Cardinals were like a fun offensive team for like a month and a half, and now this is 3 straight weeks that they've just completely shit the bed on offense.
They're going back to what we thought they were going to be this year.
Yeah.
Which is a shame too, because even looking back at the beginning of the year, they played Buffalo on the road very close, and we know what they've been able to do this year. They lost to the Lions by a touchdown, and we know what they've been able to do this year. And then the Minnesota loss last week, I think, was like the backbreaker for this team. Like, that continues on through the rest of the year. And the way that they lost that Vikings game is going to be the catalyst for it, in the same way that the Bears were with the Hail Mary.
Yeah, and upon looking at it, 2 of their wins were against the Bears and Jets. So, might have been fool's gold, but who knows?
Well, I mean, they should have won those games. They're better than both of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, those 2 Kyler picks at the beginning were bad.
That brutal.
Yeah. I mean, that just put them in an early hole, and they were just in catch-up mode for the entire rest of the game at that point.
I mean, they led the game, though, despite that, in the first quarter.
Yep.
Somehow. But, yeah.
It didn't last too long.
No.
No.
I just remember what I was going to say. How did our wide receiver on the Cardinals do this past week?
Oh, shit. It is time for the Greg Dortch update.
'Cause he is Greg George, short king, proud of Glendale's football team, scoring all the touchdowns for you, punt return man, kickoffs too, he's Greg Dortch.
See, this is the worst part about this stretch of Cardinals football is it's making us forget the Greg Dortch update sometimes. Greg Dortch, 1 reception for 5 yards. He also had 2 punt returns for 21 yards.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So our boy picking him up on the ground.
I also want to point out that the Cardinals punter, Blake Gilligan, got hurt in this game, so they had to have Chad Ryland do punts in addition to his field goal and extra point attempts.
Huh.
He also missed a field goal.
As
Shocker.
There's also I think it was Connor Orr pointed this out, but during their final drive when they were, down 2 scores, still technically in it if you score fast and then get an onside kick, and they just started feeding the ball to Trey McBride like over and over and over again, trying to get him a touchdown, and then so much so that they ran out basically the clock, and then on the final play of the game, the Seahawks are just like, let's just end this, and Rayshawn Jenkins fucking sacked Kyler Murray on the final play.
That was so bad. It was like a 15-yard sack or something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a great summation of what the Cardinals have looked like recently. So
Yeah.
and with that, I mean, the fucking Seahawks are back up to 8-5. At one point, I think they were 3-3, and looked like they were some butt ass shit.
They're won
5
4
and
in a
1
row.
on the road.
Yeah.
Since their bye, they've won all their games. And I mean, they play the Bears, but they also play the Packers and the Vikings. Rams coming.
Yeah. So interesting to see where their season goes. Another team that is surging, even though they lost 3 in a row, but go with me. It's the Panthers, as they traveled to Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
It was tried hard. Their end result was tragic, because just like Chiefs have magic. Bryce Young keeps something that wasn't enough, as the Eagles stuff. Despite this, the Panthers are looking better, and Saquon is on his way, being a contract and setter. As the Eagles squeezed by the Panthers 22-16 in a game that I don't think anybody saw being this close, though we also said that about the Chiefs.
So, this is, I think, 3 weeks in a row now that Bryce Young has just genuinely been fucking awesome. And we are a dropped Xavier Legette catch away from the Panthers upsetting the Eagles. Like,
that was
dude had ice
brutal.
in his veins at the end of this game. Yeah.
It's tragic.
Yep.
I mean, that benching really did him some favors, and it's interesting to see this team starting to build into something after the absolute disaster to start the season.
Oh yeah. I do want to talk about the Eagles real quick because they have sneakily won 9 in a row, and everybody's penciling them in as like, oh, they're a juggernaut, and I'm like, not so sure, because Jalen Hurts has not been very good the last month or so of the season.
It hasn't had to do anything.
And the bad vibes might be back, because did you guys see AJ Brown's comments post game?
Yes, I did.
I heard of them. I did not read them or listen to them.
So they were interviewing him in the locker room after a win, I should point out, and they asked him like, oh, you guys are playing a not great team in the Panthers, pretty close. What can you guys do better down the stretch? And he just said passing.
Oh.
Like, and then put some more detail into it and was like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like, saying like, oh, they got to get me the ball more or whatever. And it was like, okay. So,
I mean, if you finish
might be a little off.
I mean, if you finish the game with about as many receptions as Grant Calcaterra, I might be a little irritated too. Who caught a touchdown, the only passing or one of the passing touchdowns in this game. And while that is a bit of a weird approach for AJ Brown, I mean, I do truthfully understand. Like, if you're getting paid top dollar as a top receiver, you'd expect to get the top targets and all that shit during the game, but sometimes you just win football games by spreading it all out evenly, and some days, yeah, a guy like Grant Calcaterra is going to be as impactful as you, and sometimes that shit just fucking happens, and you got to roll with it when it does.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your football team won.
I was going to say, especially when you're riding a 9-game winning streak. Like,
when, like, 5 of those you could have easily lost, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're winning all of these convincingly either.
And especially when the previous season fell apart because of just, like, horrible in-team fighting and all that shit. So, just keep an eye on that. Might be interesting. So,
yeah, of their 11 wins this year, I think 8 are by 1 score. It's either 7 or 8. So they're not like
dominant.
They're not. Yeah. Like Packers was 5, Saints was 3, Browns was 4, Jags was 5, Commies 8, Ravens 5, and now Panthers 6. And like the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Panthers all on paper should have been a much wider margin of victory than that. And with how the Saints turned out, probably that one too.
Yeah, it's well, I was gonna say that Saints game too. That was one that went back and forth, and that was
That
a
was
late
ugly.
Derek Carr interception away from being a 3-0 start by the Saints. Which is also funny to think about. Yeah, I mean, just like what we've been talking about the last few weeks, like Bryce Young has genuinely turned it around and has been like great the last few weeks. So it's pretty cool to see. So I think they, the Panthers still have their guy of the future. It seems like so.
I hope so.
Unfortunately, or no, the Panthers are still alive. There's still a chance.
What the fuck?
Just need the commies to lose out.
Well, there's like 6 teams that are 3-10, and they're the only ones not eliminated.
I believe that is correct. Yeah, they are.
What the hell?
The Giants are the only NFC team that has been eliminated. Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row though that the Panthers have played a contender. All 3 teams that they've lost to, Chiefs, Bucks, Eagles, probably going to the playoffs. 2 of which have already clinched their spots, and have taken them to the final play of the game. So like this team is not nearly as bad as they look to start this year, and like a couple plays away from having some major upsets and shocking the world. So
they get a few more guys. They'll have something cooking.
Yeah. So, team that is cooking something is the Minnesota Vikings. So let's head up there.
Sam Darnold. That's it. That's the intro. My Pookie Bear heaves 5 passing touchdowns, 3 to Jordan Anderson and 2 to Justin Jefferson as the Vikings crush the Falcons 42-21. On the other side of the ball, Kirk Cousins shudders out his death rattle as I finally declare the Falcons Dunyan Rings.
This team is in a tailspin.
That's official. They are going on Dunyan Rings.
You're gonna know. Okay. Well, we'll save that for that segment.
This team.
Think about who they're
sucks.
playing next. Before you do that, they're playing the Raiders next.
I don't know.
See, but you're counting out the factor of the Desmond Ridder revenge game, so.
Yeah.
But also, this might be one of the worst 300-yard games I've ever seen. Because it did not feel like Kirk Cousins threw for 350 yards at all. He was bad.
Is his 4th straight game without a touchdown pass. The last 4 games, 0 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
He has thrown 15 interceptions on the year.
Ugh.
17 touchdowns, 15 picks.
And 8 of those have come in the last 4 games.
If the season was like 6 games longer, he'd be able to do a 30 for 30 like Jameis did.
You killed the man, not the idea.
I know they're not out of
2
it,
games.
and this is a tough division, but I feel like he's got to be playing hurt. He's got to be playing through something because he is terrible, and they're going to keep him in, and they're going to tank their own season by not moving on from him when he's clearly not playing how a QB1 should be.
I think they're still holding out hope for him to have another game like he did against the Bucks when he threw for 500 yards. And I think the reality is the funk that he's in right now, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, he needs to be benched.
I think with an opponent coming up like Las Vegas, and obviously, any given Sunday, yada, 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 but you're on a 4-game losing streak. You haven't thrown a passing touchdown in 4 weeks. I think you give Michael Penix a chance this week against a team that obviously isn't very good and just see what the fuck happens.
Yeah. At the very least, that's what they should do. I just don't know if they're going to be willing to.
I think, yeah, I mean, I agree, but I think what they're going to end up doing is because they are in a situation where they have the tiebreaker over the Bucks, that it's like, it's worth trying to stay with them and hope they slip up. But at this point,
they're going to keep in who they think is the best chance to win.
Yeah, but at this point, they no longer control their own destiny, which is unbelievable because, like we mentioned, they swept the Buccaneers, and the Bucs are the only other team worth a damn in this division, right? There's no way that they should be in this situation, but they are. So,
Well, the Falcons also split their season games with the Saints. And they have another game against Carolina coming up, and that's a much improved Carolina team. So, like, it's not out of the question that all 4 of these teams end up finishing with either 7 or 8 wins. And the Falcons are not guaranteed to get the tiebreaker on all of those.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been watching this Falcons team recently, and I just don't think they have anything left. Like, I think that Raiders game might be more of a battle than most people think.
yeah,
See, the Raiders have played a couple guys
defense.
really tough. Like, they played the
Yeah.
Chiefs good. They played the Broncos good for a decent amount of that game. They played Tampa close for a good amount. Like, they're a feisty little bunch. I don't think it's out of the question for the Raiders to pull it off, but on the other side, though, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's getting fucking paid, man.
Dude.
No matter who it is, somebody is paying that guy a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's what everybody always thought he could be, you know? A lot of people always forget that Sam Darnold's rookie year, he showed a lot of genuine promise and had a lot of people excited. And then a man by the name of Adam Gase came along. So, yeah, Sam Darnold will be the belle of the ball of fucking free agency at the end of this year. Like, and props to Kevin O'Connell for basically helping him become what everybody always thought he could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he, through 13 games this year, has 28 passing touchdowns, and his previous career high is 19.
Oh my gosh.
So he's on 4 games to go. And also a game, he set the Vikings franchise record for passing in a game. 0.4 off of a perfect passing.
Somehow didn't get a perfect passer rating from that. So, cool stat, NFL.
Do you think he'll get MVP votes? The middle of the season was shaky, but otherwise he has been, I would say, a top 3 quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah,
I think
I'm trying to.
Either Saquon or Lamar that wins it, but I could get like a 3rd place or something, depending on how the voting system is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Josh Allen's got to be up in the mix too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold is like in almost all statistical categories is like a top 5 guy in the league this year. So,
he's moving different.
He is.
Smoking symbiote.
I'm him. It's funny you said that because I was checking my soundboard if I had the "I'm him" sound effect on there, and I don't.
He's Himalayan.
Oh, Kentavious Street update as well, since this was a Falcons game. He got a solo tackle and then another combined tackle.
Hell
yeah.
Gotta make that guy a theme song.
Kentavious Streets made me a king.
Cruising with the street and my 6 foe.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we do we want to go to the most meaningless game of the season so far?
God, I don't want to.
On to Nashville.
Per NFL bylaws, this game had to happen, with a more boring end result than a win by Max Verstappen. A 10-6 win by the Mac Jones Jags, and watching my team's old quarterback made me want to gag. Our time spent on this game should be very brief, because if it's not, I will be filled with grief. As, the Jaguars beat the Titans 10-6. Who the hell cares?
Genuinely, I thought about calling an audible that it's like, what if we just don't even mention this game? Like, we don't even acknowledge that it happened. Like, genuinely, it's a 3-10 versus another 3-10 team. At the time it was 2-9, 3 and number, or 5. Who cares? I'm not doing the fucking math. Who cares?
We acknowledge this game. I think we can move on.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard at 100 yards rushing. Good for him. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. On to LA for a much more interesting game.
SoFi Stadium, Bills versus Rams. A fairly standard game turns into a shit show in just a single play. Early in the second quarter, Rams linebacker Jake Hummel blocks a punt, tight end Hunter Long runs it back, and suddenly the best team in the AFC is down by 10. Both teams abandon any semblance of defense and engage in a scoring arms race, going band for band with Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, and Puka Nacua all finding the end zone multiple times. When the dust settles, the Rams end up on top 44-42 in one of the most exciting and absurd games of the season.
This was
So
fun.
Couple stats. Josh Allen, first player in NFL history.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, no way.
All
First
of
player in NFL history with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in one game. And this was only the second game in NFL history with both teams combining for 5+ pass touchdowns, 5+ rush touchdowns, and no turnovers. So
I can't believe motherfuckers were sleeping on Matthew Stafford like that.
Josh Allen might have single-handedly won himself MVP with this game, despite them losing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The genuine dude accounts for all 6 scores. It really did come down to just this the blocked punt. Although gotta talk about the mismanagement at the end of this game.
Oh yeah.
By Sean McDermott, where the Bills have the ball on the 1-yard line with like a minute left and all 3 timeouts. And Brady calls it, and they're down 2 scores, should also point out. And Tom Brady calls it, and he's like, you have to throw it here. Like, you can't run. And they try to run play, and it gets stuffed. And he's like, what are you doing? And then they wasted a timeout, which meant they, instead of, forcing a 3-out and getting the ball back with like 30 seconds left, they get it back with, they don't get it at all. So, yeah, it just disaster. Even in a situation where you put, you don't line up Josh Allen under center. You line him up in shotgun, you let him try to throw, and if nobody's there and he gets an opening, then he dives in, and you waste 5 seconds, right? And instead, they waste a timeout, and it basically costs them any shot at all to win the game. So, and also, Sean McDermott said that on the final punt of the game, they only had 10 men on the field. So,
brother. Worth noting too. There were no sacks in this game by either team. There was just 0 defense played whatsoever. And it was very fun.
Yep. Highest scoring game of the season. And I mean, if you're the Rams, what a friggin' win. Like,
seriously.
They have been kind of floating around and, much like the 49ers, like, if they could just get healthy. And then they get healthy and they punch the fucking Bills in the mouth, right? Like, and then the Bills are in a situation where they absolutely have to win every single game because they're trying to steal the number 1 seed.
Yeah, that one hurt.
And, yeah, and I believe they're still on the outside looking in, but like the Rams are hot, and this is kind of the same thing they did last year, where it's like, do not let them in the tournament because it's gonna be a bad time if you do.
I have a feeling this coming down to LA and Seattle by the end is going to get nasty.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are getting hot at the same time.
They play each other week 18.
Oh God.
And the Rams, they also play Arizona week 17. So this division is going to get real interesting.
Niners.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Huge shout out Puka Nacua. Jesus Christ.
Real.
Dude has some of the best hands I've ever seen. 162 yards through the air. Also had 5 carries for 16 yards. Like insane toe tap catch on the sideline. Like still making a case for being the draft steal of last year. Dude's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, football.
Yeah, football.
This week's episode is just like, that was cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's like that SNL sketch, the Chris Farley show, where he's like, you remember when you were in that movie? That was awesome. Hey, Matt Stafford, remember that time that you threw for 320 yards? That was awesome.
Which time?
Anyway, shall we go to Kansas City for Sunday night?
Fuck! Anyway.
I'll take that as a yes. Welcome to the NFL. It's Patrick Mahomes' world, and you're all living in it. It does not matter if this Chiefs are the worst 12-1 team in NFL history in terms of point differential, by a large margin, I might add. It doesn't matter that Mahomes is in the top 5 for interceptions in the league and is having a career-worst season. It does not matter that Travis Kelce has become a non-factor, that first-round draft pick Xavier Worthy is a liability, and DeAndre Hopkins will fail to come down with more than half of his targets. It does not matter that the Chiefs are on their 3rd kicker in as many weeks, and it does not matter that said kicker will hit the upright with his game-winning attempt. The Chiefs are inevitable. You cannot escape them. We're all gonna die one day. Chiefs 19, Chargers 17.
The second
Eat it,
consecutive
Arby's.
week.
Eat Arby's.
The second straight week that they've beaten a divisional opponent 19-17 at home on a last-second field goal. Can we
I fucking
fucking
hate
knock it off
being
already?
alive.
Fuck this team. I'm so fucking.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
Who the fuck is Matthew Wright, and why is he fucking kicking for the Chiefs?
Oh, former Steeler Matthew Wright.
He was
God
the guy
damn
that
it.
filled in for Jake Moody on the Niners earlier this year too.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, I understand now why so many people hated the Patriots dynasty, because the Pats
Yeah.
used to pull games out of their asses like this all the time. But I don't remember so many of them being this ugly at the same time.
dude, when I watched the
Like, what the
game-winning
fuck?
field goal, and I saw it going straight for the fucking upright, I was like, it's still gonna go in. Like,
Yeah.
They
and
don't
sure
even
enough,
get-
it did.
They don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. They're just going to win.
Can we like swap the end result of this kick and the Cody Parkey one and see how it changes history? Just for shits and giggles, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god. You know what? Now that I think about that, like, because that was the year of the, the controversial NFC title game in New Orleans. with the
Uh-huh.
missed PI
Saints
call.
Rams.
The Bears were pretty fucking good that year. So who knows?
Wouldn't have been out of the question to get a Bears Pats or Bears Chiefs Super Bowl,
That's
If not-
ridiculous.
if not for D Ford and that kick. You never know.
The cat is just yelling in the corner of the room.
Yeah, he's pissed off about the Chiefs too.
Ziggy, do you hate the Chiefs? Yeah. He just started yelling and he got up so he could eat. It's like, Father, I crave nourishment.
I crave better football.
Yeah, I mean, this fucking... Why did you guys let me get a 2v1 on the Chiefs? Like,
I don't know.
it's the Chargers. They don't
I
win
had a
these
bad
games.
feeling.
Well, they almost did it.
The Chargers almost do a lot of things.
I mean, yeah, but like, shut the fuck up. But like, yeah.
It's their whole thing.
So I'm looking at the game box. Why did Taylor Heineke rip off a 12-yard run for his only appearance in the game?
So Herbert had a play where he like is kind of similar to what happened to Aiden O'Connell, where he like was rolling out to his right and got hit pretty hard as he threw,
Oh,
and
okay.
Heineke had to come in for a couple plays. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
yeah.
also-
Dude, I just feel like every single primetime game with the Chargers I've ever watched inevitably has that sideline shot of Justin Herbert right before the final play of the game when his team loses, where he's just got his helmet on the top of his head and he's just got that like blank stare, like, God damn it.
This is my life.
I mean-
Yeah.
I mean, that was all of us watching at home too. We knew what was going to happen. As soon as the Chiefs got the ball back, it was like, yeah.
They've
it's
done
gonna happen
fuck
somehow.
all in the second half, so
Yep.
time for them to figure it out here.
Naturally.
God damn it. With that, the Chiefs are now 12-1, and now
Of
2
fucking
games clear of
course
the
they
Bills.
are.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I
Poor
think, and I
Chargers.
believe they clinched the AFC West for the 9th straight year as a result
did.
of this as well. So they're coming up
Correct.
on the Pats' record of 11 for the most in a row ever.
Already?
Chargers or Broncos, please do something about that next year.
But you got to remember, it started with Ziggy. I'm podcasting. Come on, man. I mean, because it started with the last couple of years of Alex Smith. So
Oh,
after
okay.
Peyton
Yeah, that makes
retired,
sense.
So
I also
Yeah.
shot Quentin Johnston for actually showing up this week. 5 just for 50 yards and a touchdown
Yeah.
for 5 a couple weeks ago.
So,
Do every week. Pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, too bad it didn't matter.
That it didn't matter.
Eat
And then
Arby's.
finally, to Dallas. The only notes I wrote down is just painful screams. I'm gonna read off a text message from my dad for my intro real quick. So it just said, how is that for a hell of a way to lose a game last night? For a minute there, I'm thinking we looked pretty good, and then in reality jumped up and slapped me right in the face.
The Cowboys are so bad, they let Lisa Simpson score 2 touchdowns again.
I can't. Okay, I have to lead off with this. I took 2 edibles on Monday night, and I forgot this game was happening, and I turned it on, and I saw Ralph Wiggum score a touchdown, and I think it sent me into psychosis.
Leave it to the Cowboys to get the blocked punt in Bengals territory with a minute left and
Oh my
fuck it up.
god!
God damn it.
I could not believe that shit.
It's like what I was saying to my dad is I was like, I've seen a lot of dumbass Cowboys losses, and this one means literally nothing, but Jesus Christ.
I also, despite the Bengals, to been a good for Joe Burrow receiving MVP.
He's making a pretty strong case.
3,700 yards, first in the league. 33 touchdown passes, first in the league. 74.1 QBR, second in the league. They're 5-8. Jamar Chase, 93 receptions, first in the league. 1,300 yards, first in the league. 15 catching touchdowns, first in the league. They are 5-8.
Yeah,
Trey Hendrickson, 12.5 sacks, first in the league. They are 5-8.
Yeah, Jamar Chase had 14 receptions for 177 yards in this game. Like, just
Take those
absurd.
3, put them on any other team in the league, they're making the Super Bowl.
The Jets?
And no,
It
they're
can't
still
be worse than Aaron
playoffs.
Rodgers.
30 other teams and they'll make the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's 30, yeah.
I would be perfectly okay with Jamar Chase. That sounds awesome.
I cannot wait for the distant inevitability that Joe Burrow is going to walk from the Bengals and he's going to go with the Steelers.
That would be very funny. I can't lie.
Exactly. Can't write a better ending than that.
No, he goes to the Browns.
You need to shut your mouth.
I do want to point out the drive before that had one of the worst set of missed or just like terrible officiating streaks. So you have the God, who was it? I think it was Mike Gesicki. Catches the ball and kind of bobbles it in the flat, gets hit, fumbles it. Cowboys recover. They rule it an incomplete pass. It's iffy. I thought it was a fumble, but it's very close. So I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. Very next play, Burrow tries to scramble up in through the pocket on 3rd down, gets stripped of the ball. They recover it. Burrow gets so blatantly face masked with an official staring right at him. They don't throw the fucking flag on that. The very next drive, on I think it was another 3rd down that gets called back because of offensive holding. Micah Parsons just fucking destroys Joe Burrow like a full second after he throws the ball and hits him helmet to helmet. They also don't call that. Like they were trying to kill Joe Burrow in this game, it seemed like. And then that
in more ways than one.
Yeah. And then that leads into the blocked punt where the Cowboys are going to force a Bengals punt tied 20 with like a minute left. They block the punt. The ball flutters up into the air, and I can't remember the guy's name at the moment. Muffs the fucking blocked punt. Bengals recover it, get a 1st down, immediately throw like a 40-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase, and game over.
My favorite part about all of that is that we didn't even see any of what you just described because we watched the Simpsons broadcast in its entirety.
Just gonna have to take my word for it. It was bad.
I did not see the screenshot of the face mask until I was on Twitter after the game.
Dude, his fucking
It was
head
bad.
was like almost backwards. God. What was I gonna say?
Elaborate
the
with
worst part about
Simpsons
this,
characters.
Cooper Rush, I feel like actually played a pretty decent game. Like he looked good.
He did.
Rico
Yeah.
Dowdle had fucking 131 yards on the ground.
Rico Dowdle could be legit, man. Like
Yeah.
I think people are sleeping on him a lot.
Yeah, he's decent.
CeeDee Lamb had a big game for the first time in a while. Like this was one of the best Cowboys offensive showings, and it since Dak left. Which like
I was gonna say,
it's the
sans
Bengals.
Dak, this was decently impressive by them. Honestly,
it is the Bengals, so you do have to take it with a grain of salt. But because their defense is hot ass.
They showed up when they needed to, though, barely.
Yeah. So pain. That's like
Agony.
on the other hand, though, like it's probably a better thing that they lost because then they'd be sitting at 6-7, and I'd have hope. So, because I'd be
Welcome
like, hey, they're
to
only
the
like a game and a half out of
on
playoffs. So, yeah, so fun times in Dallas, and somehow the Bengals are still alive at 5-8.
Somehow.
Yeah. Anyway, that was what, week 13 numbers? Can't remember.
Week 14.
I'm tired. 14. Fuck. Let's throw it over to the dues.
So we've hit the point in the year now where if you get put on IR, it is a regular season ending injury with only 4 games remaining. So for the Eagles, that includes Dallas Goedert, their starting tight end, who was put on IR with a knee injury, so he will not be back until the playoffs. The Cowboys lost Zach Martin for the year after undergoing ankle surgery. That might have been the last time we see him in a Cowboys uniform, and if it was, I'd like to make a potential Hall of Fame case for him, because he has been one of the most consistent and standout offensive guards in the league for his entire career.
Yeah, dude's been an absolute stud for them for God knows how long.
So a massive loss, whether he comes back next year or not. Somehow the Aiden O'Connell injury, as we said earlier, was not what we thought it was going to be. Like, it looked really bad, and somehow it's only a bone bruise that leaves him week to week. So if he can't go, it'll be Desmond Ridder. If he can, good for him, I guess. Derek Carr also got a hand injury and a concussion on that whatever the fuck play it was in the Giants game. So he is also listed as week to week. So maybe we'll get Jake Haener, maybe we'll get Spencer Rattler, maybe we'll get him. Who knows? But it's the Saints. Who cares? The Raiders put Zamir White on IR with a quad injury, so it's going to be the Sincere McCormick show from here on out this year. Perhaps one of the most devastating injuries in recent memory happened in that Cowboys game, as DeMarvion Overshown tore not just his ACL, not just his MCL, but also his PCL. So he tore 3 ligaments in one go, out for the year, and according to Jerry Jones, he might miss all of next season as well. And for a guy that was really just starting to come into his own, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, that
That's a
was
shame.
that was not fun to watch. Again, you guys probably also missed that on the Simpsons broadcast.
Like the broadcast was like, oh, we have an injured Cowboy, commercial time, and then it was just like Simpsons trivia while they helped him off the field.
Could you imagine if they did like the Family Guy game? Because in that they would 100% do the cutaway of like Peter holding his knee, doing like the
They would do that shit too. Oh,
also,
man.
I just now saw the Derek Carr play. What the fuck was he trying?
Yeah, like yeah. So yeah, again, he might also be out for all of next year, but whenever he comes back, hopefully he can come back in form, because again, he has been one of the lone bright spots for the Cowboys this year. The Browns put Greg Newsome on IR with a hamstring injury, so he can't fight George Pickens anymore this year. Jonathan Brooks, who tore his ACL while at Texas last year, re-tore that ACL on Sunday against the Eagles, so he is out for the year as well. Drew Lock has a heel injury and is currently in a walking boot. So Tommy Cutlets is starting again on Sunday because the Giants have to still play football.
Hey.
And Trent Williams and Malik Mustafa have already been ruled out tomorrow against the Rams, but there's a slight chance that Dre Greenlaw might be back. Maybe.
Oh shit.
We'll see how that goes. The Saints picked up Ben DiNucci, James Madison legend, with the injury to Derek Carr. The Raiders, with the injury to Aiden O'Connell, signed Carter Bradley to their active roster. The Panthers brought in Bengals legend Trenton Irwin to their practice squad. The Patriots and KJ Osborne, who's barely played this year, mutually agreed to part ways, and he was claimed off of waivers by the Commies, so perhaps a new opportunity for him to gain his stride back there. And Steven Nelson, who had a previous stint with the Chiefs and also played for the Texans, unretired after retiring over the summer and signed with the Chiefs. So another go of it for him. And then a wide range of shit happened this week as well. Randy Moss, who announced he had been stepping away, or he would be stepping away from ESPN to attend to a personal matter. His condition was leaked on Twitter. I'm not going to repeat it because clearly that was not information he wanted made public, and I'm not going to help facilitate that. But I love Randy Moss. He was one of my all-time favorite Patriots growing up as a kid, and I hope he can pull through and be better on the other end of it. Because he is a fucking awesome dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then his former head coach and the guy that I have spent the last 24 years rooting for, Bill Belichick, was hired by the University of North Carolina to be their new head coach today. So, UNC replaced 73-year-old Mac Brown with 72-year-old Bill Belichick.
Got younger. I like that hire.
Yeah. Bringing some new ideas.
I also went to college with his girlfriend. So, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is quite the timeline we're on now, and like, I can only imagine like Bill Belichick flying around the country, just on recruiting trips, and just like being in a kid's kitchen, like, look, asshole, you gonna commit or not?
Dude, I was convinced that he was just going to be using it as a bargaining chip to get like a new NFL gig, and then he's just like actually going to college.
They gave him like a 5-year deal, I think, too. Like he is legit doing this.
That is wild.
And like it's a full circle moment for him though, because like his dad was an assistant coach there in the 1950s. So like that to me is pretty cool that like all those years later he can return to basically where he grew up learning football. So we'll see how it goes for him.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
interesting.
He's never coached in college before. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
I either think it's going to work really well or it's going to blow up in everybody's faces.
Regardless of how it goes, I will be a bandwagon UNC fan for the next couple years. And then Joe Burrow had his house broken into during the Cowboys game. So, yeah. Hope nothing valuable was stolen from
It sounds like the same folks that broke into, was it Kelsey's house a few weeks ago?
That doesn't surprise me.
It sounds like it's
God.
the same part of Crime Syndicate.
This is going to be a new NFL crime movie to go along with their fucking Hallmark movie.
No,
Oh, God. And
Nicolas
then
Cage being like, I have to steal the Vince Lombardi trophy.
and then we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 WTF moments of the week here in the football world. The first of which being apparently an OnlyFans model is claiming that a Giants player who is rumored to be Tommy DeVito but has not been confirmed
No.
paid her with free tickets to the Saints game to flash the players during the game.
Well, I'm glad that worked. Definitely distracted the Saints.
That was probably the only notable thing that happened the entire time. Like, all those however many thousands of people we were talking about earlier as why did they go to that game? Well, they can say they saw an OnlyFans model's tits now, I guess.
I could just do that on Google.
I guess that's your takeaway now.
My brother in Christ, porn is free on the internet.
Just Google boobs.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, those were the only fans at the game.
Ew. Speaking of New York,
And then, yeah, more New York related stuff. Video surfaced the other day of Jets legend Mark Gastineau confronting Brett Favre about supposedly helping Michael Strahan break his single season sack record in 2001.
so
That
have
is
you
one of the weirdest, most uncomfortable exchanges I've ever watched in my life.
Okay, so have you guys seen the play that he's talking about?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Like, he's
Okay.
sold on that play.
It is, yeah, it is not, it's not allegedly. Everybody knows Brett Favre knew Michael Strahan was a sack away from the record, and he literally takes the snap, he rolls out to his right, and he slides at Michael Strahan's feet. Like, 100% knew exactly what he was doing. I don't know if Brett's ever, or he's never
posted a Twitter
said I
thread
did
about
it,
the
but
other day.
he has said he's like, I wanted Michael to get the record. He's never said that he did it intentionally, but everybody knows that he did. So like it's been a long time source of like frustration for Jets fans, because it's like we can't even have this one fucking thing, right? Like their greatest pass rusher in franchise history has his record broken, not by somebody putting together a great season, but by Brett Favre literally colluding to fucking topple his record. So like I get it. You know, it's a very uncomfortable situation, but like, you know, knowing a little bit of Mark Gastineau's history, like he's a cancer survivor post playing career, like he's been fucking tested by life. So I don't blame him for not having flowery feelings towards Brett Favre for basically stealing his life work away from him, essentially.
While we're on that topic, how is Mark Gastineau not in the Hall of Fame?
Fucking right.
Because he absolutely deserves to be.
Yeah, like one of the best. Well, and see, that's the thing that upsets me. Like I've heard Mark Gastineau talk about this before, but it just really shows that wound hasn't healed. Even if the video is very uncomfortable, and you could make the argument that probably shouldn't confront Brett Favre like that, regardless of Brett Favre. But like you know, when you think about the greatest pass rushers of that era, you're like, oh yeah, it's like Bruce Smith and Lawrence Taylor
and him.
And you don't really think about Mark Gastineau, even though he had the record. And the record getting broken isn't, oh, Michael Strahan finally broke Mark Gastineau's 15-year stranglehold on this record. It's, hey, remember that time Brett Favre colluded with Michael Strahan to give him the single season sack record? You know, like JJ Watt or TJ Watt's
fault either, but
no, yeah, and like I'm sure Strahan probably doesn't feel great about it either, but like his name's in the record book.
Yeah. Just go for the authentic record holder, TJ Watt.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to mention. Like TJ Watt's the only other guy who's genuinely broken that record. So, and it took him an extra game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I just think it's weird that it took 20 years for this confrontation to happen.
Yeah.
That's the part that was most striking to me, is like, this happened in 2001. Like, there was no other point in the last 23 years that this could have happened. I don't know.
It's weird.
So,
like, I don't blame him for being pissed, but the whole thing is just, again, very weird. And honestly, I don't think that was a video that needed to be published either.
No.
Agreed.
Like,
yeah.
I think that's one of those things that should have happened off the record that only reporters would write about. I don't think, like, video of that needed to be seen by everybody.
No, definitely
agreed.
not.
Like, just let two men talk it out, and if they can't resolve their differences, oh well, they go on with their day. But, like, we didn't need to see that. Yeah.
Dude, I just found a picture of it's Strahan tackling Favre, and you can literally see Strahan smiling at him like, what the fuck are you doing? That might have to be in the thumbnail. So
yeah, probably. And then the sorest loser of the year award goes to Ohio State Representative Josh Williams, who, after the fight between Ohio State and Michigan a couple weeks ago, introduced a bill in the Ohio State legislature to make planting flags at Ohio State Stadium a felony. Honestly, get fucking bent. If you don't want your opponents to plant flags in the middle of your field, Win.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you guys tried playing better?
It's like people getting mad at bat flips. Don't give up a home
Oh.
run, you dumb motherfucker.
Don't give him a
Fucking-
meatball to hit 450.
God,
Hit him
Yeah.
inside.
I could do an hour-long podcast about how pitchers are the biggest baby bag bitches in professional sports.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Fuck
no,
Ohio State.
I think it was somebody posted in our Discord server the compilation of like flag planting leading to fights set to one shining moment. It's so funny.
So yeah,
God.
again, if you don't want people planting flags on your field, just play better and win, so they don't give them the satisfaction to be able to do it. Don't pussy out like that and make it so they can't do it. That's
Yeah.
stupid.
That's real.
And then, lastly, apparently Xavier Legette eats raccoons on Thanksgiving.
God forbid men have hobbies.
I saw a video of him actually talking about it, and it was kind of funny, but just like, you know, I know all about, you know, all the stuff this year about how like the Southern boy thing and all that, and how, you know, he talks in the way he does, and how it's been a whole thing, and like there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I think I might draw the line at eating raccoons.
See, it's a thing. You know, it's not a him thing, it's a cultural thing. But if I go over there and I see it dished up, I'm probably not going to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever indulge myself in that, but you know what? To each their own. I will not judge.
I'd try it. I'd just try it.
Maybe.
Dudes rock.
I'm ambivalent towards raccoons.
Yeah.
Trash pandas.
I have one of my coworkers always talks about how he like literally buys cat food to feed the raccoons around his house, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
That's incredible.
Are you fucking stupid? One of many things many questionable choices that guy makes.
And then on this day in football history, the 75th anniversary of the final AAFC game in 1949, where the Browns defeated the 49ers, and it was the last game for that league before both of those teams were absorbed into the NFL along with the original Baltimore Colts. Back when the Browns were good.
Yeah, the All-American, the story of the All-American Football Conference's like first few seasons, they were the first league to really challenge the NFL and challenge their status. I think they even ended up suing the NFL to challenge their monopoly status. And if you've never heard, or if you've never seen anything about it, the Browns' first game in the NFL, because they won all four AAFC titles, was against the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, because the NFL wanted to put them in their place, and they whipped the shit out of the Eagles in their first game as an NFL franchise. And went on to win 3 NFL titles in the next 6 years. So
then what happened?
Well, then we don't talk about what happened after that.
I want to point out.
No, we should. We should.
I want to point out one of their playoff wins in 1950 was 8-3.
Ethical ball.
That fucking rules.
I bet it was 4 safeties too.
I was not, unfortunately.
Ah.
No, that's a story for another day. But honestly, I don't think the AAFC is talked about nearly enough in the in the entire history of the NFL. It has kind of been like glossed over quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because obviously the AFL holds such a huge part. They basically still control, or are left remaining as half the league. But like those, the Cleveland Browns are like some of the greatest innovators in the history of early football. Like those Paul Brown, Otto Graham, Marion Motley teams are like, they invented things like the radio in the helmet and the face mask and the draw play. Actually, the Browns were the first team to break professional football's color barrier when they signed Marion Motley. So, AFC has a huge part in NFL history, but like you said, kind of gets forgotten.
I just think about football back in the olden days before those things were invented, and like running a modern offense in the game back then. Like, imagine going back instead of 30s or 40s and running an RPO, you'd probably get tried for witchcraft or something.
Well, dude, that was so like genuinely right. The Browns and Otto Graham were like 50 years ahead of their time, because they invented the little wristband with the plays drawn on it, and Otto Graham talked about before he died that like multiple times people tried to fucking rip it off him because they thought he was cheating.
Well, not just that too, but like the Browns when they merged, like obviously when like mergers like that happen, the new teams that come in aren't always as good. But the Browns either lost in or won, so made the NFL championship game each of their first 6 years in the NFL after winning those 4 AAFC championships.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
They were
I
as
was
good
gonna
in the 50s as the Yankees were, and nobody talks about it.
Yeah, I mean, Otto Graham played 10 seasons of professional football, and every single one of those years ended in the championship game.
Damn.
Yeah.
Though that team also had Chuck Noll on it, who obviously wasn't known for his playing career, but is one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Huh.
Like, the impact that team had on the NFL, again, is very glossed over, and it shouldn't be. Like that's got good documentary energy to it someday. That whole run that they had.
So I have the Wikipedia page for the 1946 Cleveland Browns pulled up, and it's really funny to place this in the context of history, as the building a roster section starts with, as the war wound down with Germany's surrender in May 1945. Like literally the US defeated, or I wouldn't say defeated, helped end World War II, and then they were like, right, back to football.
I think my favorite part is that the team was named after Paul Brown. He didn't even want it.
Yeah, he was like, please don't name the team after me, and they're like, well, we didn't have any other ideas, so.
Also, obviously, like Lou Groza was on that team, one of the greatest offensive tackles ever. Like, and
Yep.
Again, Marion Motley in the color barrier. The team had some good on it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, one day they'll get the flower reserve.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the dues.
Yeah.
Let's head on over to Dunyan Rings, where Steven has a bold suggestion.
You have been giving me shit all season about giving the Bears one more week, and it took us this long to knock them out. So I'm not making that.
The Bears are alive.
Yeah, they should give them another week. Let's see. I nominate the Atlanta Falcons for Dunyan Rings. Given their schedule coming up and where they are right now, I'm not making that mistake again, and I'm cutting them off right now.
Let me look at their season.
Much I want to, they're playing Raiders.
I just don't think that's as bad of a thing as people are making it out to be.
If they
With
lose
how
to
that
the
team is
Raiders, they're
shaking.
toast. They're done.
Well, I mean, they have the Raiders and Giants in back-to-back weeks, you know?
Trust me, I want to. Maybe we instead of the Falcons. I just two winnable games coming up. I think that's a little premature.
If they lose this week, I'll spork them. I'll throw them in the deep fryer.
Okay.
Also,
So
we're
we'll give
running
them
out of
one more week.
space. We're running out of space on the spreadsheet until we run into the massive picture of Adam LaRoche. So
I'll just move them down a little bit. There we go.
No, I was gonna say we have to fit it in. We have to be economic with our picks for the. Also, big shout out to us chucking the Bengals in the deep fryer, and then they immediately win. So.
Well, we got Matt
It's not gonna
Eberflus right
last.
at least.
Yeah. Did we ever Dunyan Rings the Titans? I don't think we did.
Did we really not?
Nope.
I think we just forgot about them.
I think we. I mean, that's
Yeah, they're not on here.
sustainable.
We just genuinely forgot.
Wow. Well, no better time than the present. Put them on there.
Yeah, they're on there.
They are done. That's actually incredible.
Oh my god. I'm tempted to make a bold suggestion and say the Cardinals are done.
I could see it.
I don't hate that suggestion.
They're just too inconsistent overall to make that a choice yet. Although they have lost 3 in a row, it's just they play the Patriots this week.
Oh
that's
boy.
true.
Oh yeah, we got to put the Panthers on there because they lost again.
Ah, fuck. Yeah. They were close. They were real close. All right. Well, I guess we can just hop on over to pick they thems.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm also very tempted to just put the entire AFC South on there. I want to so bad because who cares?
Somebody has to win that division.
Wait a second. I just realized I put the games in wrong.
Proud of you.
Wait a second. Did I get all of these wrong? I did. Ah, shit. Hang on. Okay, got
This guy coming
What
to
did I
class
do?
unprepared.
Where did I pull all these games from? They're all wrong. Hang on.
What did you do? What?
Oh! Wait. Somewhere... Okay, hang on.
How the hell did you do that?
Oh, at some point I accidentally changed Rams or the Panthers to the 49ers to the Panthers. I don't know how to do that. Okay, we're good now. Right? No, wait. No, I figured it out. Okay. Chiefs, Chiefs, Brown. Okay, so these are all off by a row. God damn it. Stop typing idiot in there. So wait, which one of these games is wrong? Which one is missing?
You know,
How did I
I
fuck
put
this up.
I put them on my sheet.
I know, and I copied them from there, and then I fucked it up in the input process. Okay, hang on. I'm just putting them in. Anyway, sorry, this is great to listen to. I probably won't edit this out because I can't be fucking bothered. Starting
You can listen
with
to the world's creamiest keyboard.
Thursday night, Rams at 49ers. Who you guys got?
Rams.
Two teams coming off of huge wins, both of whom are getting healthier-ish, both of whom with a little bit of momentum. I am going to give the edge to the home team here and pick the Niners.
Ooh. I think the Rams are hot. I know they've historically struggled against the 49ers, but I think they're on the upswing. The 49ers are not. Give me the Rams. They're going to jump back in this division race. Then we kick off Sunday afternoon. Cowboys at Panthers.
Panthers.
I will also be taking the Panthers. They got to win one of these eventually, right?
Yeah, at some point.
As much as I want to, I can't in good conscience give us a Panthers sweep. Give me the Cowboys.
Aw, come on.
Interesting.
If they can play like they did against the Bengals, even though they lost, I think they can pull it off. But I also agree, though, that the Panthers are due to get one of these. So maybe I'll be wrong.
It was also the Bengals' defense.
This is true.
Yeah. Chiefs at Browns.
I'm taking the Chiefs. I thought for a brief second of locking the Chiefs, but I don't know. I don't want to put that much faith into it.
How funny would it be if this was the game where it finally ended?
That would be incredible.
Lord Jameis, save us.
Please. I will also be taking the Chiefs.
This I will definitely be giving a sweep for. This is going to be the chefs all day.
Dolphins at Texans.
Dolphins. I'm still not sold on the Texans.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think this is, if you're the Texans, this is an absolute must-win.
I think it's a must-win for both of them.
Like, I mean, obviously, playoff seeding, they're still 2 games clear of the Colts, so like feeling pretty good about that. But like, just in terms of vibes, you got to win this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Texans.
I'll take the Dolphins. I think they're just a better team.
All right. Oh, I put 2 S's on Jaguars. Oops. Jets at Jags. Who cares?
Yeah, 3-10 versus 3-10. Who gives a single fuck about this?
The Jags are wearing their throwbacks, so they're gonna win. Give me the Jags.
Mac Jones beating the Jets would be so goddamn funny. I cannot express how funny it would be for Mac Jones to Jets again. And for my hopium alone, I'm picking the Jags. Fuck it. They probably won't win. I'm going to humor myself.
Tie.
We gotta hit one of these eventually.
This game is going to end 6-6 on a walk-off missed field goal.
No, flip it 3-3.
3-3.
Oh my god. Commanders at Saints.
Hurt on Sunday, I was seriously considering picking the Saints for the upset. But with him not playing, I'm good with the commies and team.
I will also be taking our team, comrades.
I agree. Our team.
Do we? We couldn't lock them all in unison again.
I'm not seeing many other lockable games on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll come back to this one.
Okay.
Ravens at Giants. Okay, there's a
lied.
lockable
I'm
one.
locking a Ravens.
Dear God. I feel like this game is either going to be decided by 3 or 33, and nowhere in the middle.
I'm just gonna put us all in for the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm picking the
Yeah,
Ravens
that works.
regardless.
Bengals at Titans.
Oh my god.
Brian Callahan revenge game.
Dude, so here's the best part, right? This week notwithstanding, like, Will Levis has actually played pretty well for the last, like, 4 games. I could see this game going south for the Bengals and then just, like, all hell breaking loose.
If the Bengals defense was worth a single fuck besides Trey Hendrickson, I'd be locking the Bengals, but their defense being so poor is going to keep the Titans in this game. I'm
Yep.
still going to pick the Bengals because they're a better team in about every defense, but I think this one could get messy and weird.
Yeah. I will also take the Bengals.
Yeah, I echo the same sentiment. This game could get silly, but I think it's a Bengals
tomfoolery.
win. Yeah.
Patriots at Cardinals.
Well, you know who I'm picking, begrudgingly.
Must-win game for the Cardinals.
Mhm.
Even though I suggested throwing them in the deep fryer, I am going to pick them. Prove me wrong, Cardinals.
The Patriots, fresh off of trading Bill Check North Carolina in exchange for Drake May, will find a way to win the game.
Now let me take a look, because I think the last time I picked the Patriots, they lost. So I could use
Well, you
that
could
to my
continue that
advantage.
streak.
You have picked the Patriots 3 times, and you are 0-3 picking them.
The last time I picked the Patriots was when they played the Colts, when all 3 of us picked the Patriots, and they lost.
Well, they were a 2-point conversion away from winning that game.
Skill issue. If that's going to be how these Patriots games go, then I'm taking the Patriots.
Fuck you.
Again, reminding you that you are 0-3 picking the Patriots.
Good.
Well, you know what? I've gotten all 3 of their wins right, so double fuck you.
I can't imagine why.
Because I'm just better, clearly.
Because you're
Right.
3-10.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Demonstrably not true. I found that one time.
Uh-huh.
As it turns out, I miss a lot of the shots I do take. That's besides the point.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Like the Patriots.
Win some, lose a lot.
Yeah.
Are you actually going with the Patriots?
No, give me the Cardinals.
Okay.
You're a shithead. You know that?
Colts at Broncos.
Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos.
This
yeah,
one could be
Broncos.
fun, I think.
Every Colt
That could get
grows up
interesting.
to be a Bronco. Yeah. Bills at Lions. Oh, baby.
Game of the year.
What a game. This is like okay, so this is like the thing, right? Like, the teams I wanted to pick for the Super Bowl this year were Bills and Lions, but I'm like, I don't want that to be the Super Bowl because then I have to pick between the two of them. And I like them both too much.
I love the Lions, but they're banged up right now, especially on defense. I'm gonna take the Bills.
I was gonna say, I think this is the game that all of the Lions' injuries are finally going to catch up with them, which I said last week before they beat the Packers. But I think the Bills are better than the Packers, so yeah, I'm taking the Bills.
I originally wanted to take the Bills, but I'm gonna take the Lions so we don't have a sweep.
They're really gonna be 13-1 if they win this game. Have they ever won 13 games in a season?
Let's see. Detroit Lions seasons. List of Detroit Lions seasons. Can I sort it by wins? Yes, I can. No, their best record was 12-2-1 in 1929. In the modern era, 12-4 in 91.
Wow.
Which was, ironically, their only other NFC title game appearance. So.
Yeah, so we got history potentially in the making if they win this one.
Yeah.
Go
Bucks
Lions.
at Chargers.
Ooh. This is a spicy meatball kind of game.
I was gonna say Mayfield v
Herbert.
Herbert is always a nutty matchup. Go Bucks. Let's go.
I think the Chargers defense is going to be the deciding factor in this game, and I think they're going to lift them up to victory. I will take the Chargers.
God, I'm struggling to find a lockable game right now.
Yeah, I'm struggling over here too.
Oh wait,
I don't know
no,
what to do.
I've got a couple. Okay.
Defense wins you football games. I think I have to take the Chargers.
Boo. Steelers at Eagles.
Steelers. Let's be honest.
Yes. Remember that one time we merged during World War II game.
Travis Fulgham Bowl.
Jesus Christ. Oh wait, Kenny Pickett revenge game. I'm picking the Eagles.
Oh man. You know, it's the same week for political reasons that Pennsylvania let us down. And now we have to face off against each other. I'm really tempted to take a tie.
I'm one of those people.
Not out of the realm of possibility.
Fuck it, give me a tie.
I know the NFL doesn't like to do a lot of neutral site games, but I'm with the contingent of people that thinks that this should be played in State College. That'd be fucking awesome.
That's real. That is so real and true.
Fun fact, do you guys know where the Pittsburgh-Philadelphia sports rivalry comes from?
Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Okay, smartass. No, so I think it was in like the late 1800s. The Pennsylvania Railroad is based out of Philadelphia, and a bunch of railroad workers were striking, and it just turned into like people in Pittsburgh were like, let's just destroy shit because rioting's fun. And
hell yeah.
On behalf of the Pennsylvania Railroad, Philadelphia straight up declared war on Pittsburgh. It sent like an armed militia in to squash the strike, and ever since then there's been a rivalry between the two cities.
Good.
So,
fuck Philly.
You can blame
Philly's just New
that.
Jersey pretending to be part of Pennsylvania.
I'm going to tell my roommate that because she's from Philly and she's also lived in New Jersey.
Sorry to hear that.
New Jersey, the armpit of America. Sorry, not sorry.
Hey, I'm walking to you. Packers at Seahawks.
Seahawks in the upset.
Oh.
I think them being at home is going to be a big factor in how this one goes.
It's Geno season. Go Seahawks.
If they win this game too, them and the Packers will have the same record.
Now that I think about it, that's a dumb decision.
You don't have to
take
faith,
the Packers. Man. I just think they're the better team right now.
Yeah, same.
They are, but any given Sunday, I'm adamant about this one.
That is true.
The cat is snoring. I thought I heard something. Bears at Vikings.
I'm gonna lock the Vikings here.
Yeah, I figured you were.
Proceed with caution though, because the first game was close.
Yeah, I would be taking the Vikings by 1,200,000.
I'm gonna lock the Chiefs then.
Boring.
The fucking what other game is lockable?
You could be a
Uh,
gambling man. You could lock the
I could lock the commies, but I haven't locked the Chiefs a single time this year.
Okay. So maybe
Just realized.
maybe this will be what breaks them.
Yeah.
Maybe you just have to do that reverse psychology on them.
I was gonna say my locks to start this year were fucking cursed, if you remember.
That's right.
Because I locked the Bengals against the Patriots in week 1.
Moron.
I locked the Bucks against the Broncos and they lost 26-7. I locked the Steelers against who? The Colts. Lost that one. And I think I've won every lock since then. So
Why did I lock the Bills against the Ravens?
you know, that is a good question.
Why did I do that?
Also, I just checked. I'm on a lock streak of 10 weeks. Anyway, and then finally, Falcons at Raiders.
Man,
The Desmond Ritter revenge game.
give me the Raiders. I gotta be a man of my words.
Yep.
I just got a feeling.
I think,
Um,
for what it's worth, by the way, Brock Bowers, who will probably be offensive option number 1 again in this game, broke the record for receptions in a year by a rookie tight end against the I don't even remember who they played anymore. The Bucks. He beat Sam
Also-
Laporta's record set last year.
why is this on Monday night?
It is?
Yeah.
They're tired of trying to make. Wait,
I
aren't the other
forgot.
aren't 2 games on?
Oh,
Monday
it's a
this week?
doubleheader on Monday. That's right. It's
Yeah, the
Bears
Bears Vikings one is
on
also
Monday.
on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, nobody's gonna watch this game because
Ugh.
actually no, Bears Vikings isn't much better.
I was gonna say both of these games could end up being colossal ass.
Yeah. I don't know. Give me the Falcons, I guess. I don't know.
I can't in good conscience pick the Raiders. They're just so bad. Like if
Just
Aiden
don't see
O'Connell
the
was
vision.
if Aiden O'Connell was guaranteed to start, I would give it some thought, but I cannot pick a team that Desmond Ritter is starting for. I can't fucking do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just think. Instead of the Raiders winning, the Falcons are going to lose. The Raiders aren't going to win this game. The Falcons are going to lose around them.
Oh, you know what? That does make sense. Yeah. Well, either way,
You know
let's
what?
pick the Dems. What?
You both did it. I'll do it too. I'm gonna change my pick to a tie. A tie on Monday night would feed families.
Oh my god.
I like that. That's a good pick.
Just imagining like ESPN paying God knows how much money to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to watch a tie.
I'm just thinking in my head like us like picking ties and Lee Corso just looking at us like not so fast.
Can't say the word I wanted to say because we're recording.
Alright, that's probably cue that I should move on to the outro of the episode. Yeah, this has been Oofsides. You can follow us on all the links below. Follow other track and turf stuff for all of your YouTube podcast needs. If you want to hear more from me, I don't know, go listen to Fake Racers, and also there's something else on the horizon. Watch out for that. Anything else you guys want to word before we go?
Yeah. Shout out to West Virginia for rehiring Rich Rodriguez 17 years after he left.
His first game's gonna be against Pitt.
Is it really?
Uh huh.
Oh, it could do the funniest thing ever.
They're playing in West Virginia though.
That would make it even funnier.
And on that note, this has been Oofsides. Go follow everything, and see you next time.
Football.
plug, plug, plug.
Plug. Plug.